Hi, how are you? Today's video is connected to current affair. If you have been watching my channel for some time, you would know by now that it is connected to language and mental health along with communication skills. The best way to learn a language is to live it. And whenever you see something happening around you, you can make use of that because that enhances your communication skills. Language is not just about learning some words and then reproducing it. Why do we speak on current affairs? Just to be updated, to get the information. When you read newspaper, when you read news articles, do you immediately oppose a particular party or do you support them? As human beings, we reason out. We also analyze. For example, today's topic is stampede. My intention is not to support any party or to analyze and pass judgments. I've been telling this for some time. And I just want to share this with you. The minute I upload a particular video on a particular current affair, it's not to speak about the right and the wrong side. Of course, as human beings, as citizens, we have the power to voice our opinion. But here, today's video is going to analyze some words, phrases. All these words and phrases, you will definitely find it helpful. At the same time, stampede has been happening. It's not something that is new to us, right? This year has been full of catastrophic events. We had air crash. We had several places and situations where there were victims. Why does a stampede happen and how can that be avoided? Intentionally, I don't think any of us would run into a stampede. But suppose you run into it. Suppose it happens all of a sudden also. How to protect yourself? Now, when it comes to certain situations, we may not have the right procedure. Just like learning language, only this method is going to work, or this is the only way you have to learn. Such kind of finalized statements do not work with skills. Similarly, when you face a situation, a real life situation, you may have to look at different exit routes, escape routes, or even act according to that situation. But prevention is better than cure. So this video is going to be divided into just two parts. The first part, we are going to look at the words. Remember, these words are not applicable only to one topic. Most of these words can be used in some other context as well. That is what I tell during the training sessions. This is also a topic of concern, so you can get a lot of words from here. So take a look at these words. These are the words that we are going to cover today. Take some time and think of the words that you're already familiar with. I'll give you some time. You can tick or write down the words that you're already familiar with. Even if you don't know the pronunciation, even if you don't know the meaning, it's okay. If you have heard it once and suppose you forget the meaning also, it's okay. Now don't tell me, ma'am, I'm forgetting the meanings. Even I forget meanings when I come across a new word. But repeating, recycling and registering. I'm going to do another video on this soon. How to learn words is what I have been practicing all along. So this news is taken from the Hindu, which is available online, and you can find the link to it in the description. It is already given. So I will be reading the news to you. Okay, and then we will look at the words. Let's take the first word, personal. Personal. Now, what is the meaning of personal? It means a person who works in an organization, specifically with reference to military service. So here you have this particular line saying, I'm just reading it from here. Police personnel inspecting the stairs leading to the Sri Venkateshwara Swami temple where a stampede killed 9 devotees on November 1st, 2025. What is the meaning of stampede? Stampede is sudden rush, running over, forcing. That happens usually in a dense crowd. People can be run over and there can be a rush unexpectedly. We are going to just take this context. That is the focus of attention. So hope you understood the meaning of the word personnel and stampede. Now coming to police. Police is always plural. It's a plural noun. When you say policeman, it is singular. But police is always considered to be plural because it's more than one person. It's a force. Yeah. So sometimes we may have the tendency to say the police is, but it is always considered to be plural. Just keep that in mind. The police personnel, so here it is very specific. Okay. Now let's go to the news. because if you are not familiar with it, I'm just going to read an outline. You can read in detail from different sources. It is available in your regional languages as well. 3 major temple tragedies killed 22, injure nearly 100 across Andhra in 2025. Look at that title. It's really disheartening. It's not a very pleasant news. As many as 22 people died in 3 major temple tragedies in Andhra Pradesh in 2025, with the Kasibuga temple mishap on Saturday being the latest. So this is the latest. It has been happening in different places, specifically in Andhra. Before this, 7 people were killed in April when a rain-soaked wall collapsed at the Sri Varahalakshmi Narasimha Swami temple. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name slightly different from how it is pronounced in the regional language, but this has happened earlier also. That is what the reports say, and I've shown the pictures as well. So look at this. Earlier in January, 6 devotees had died during a stampede in Tirupati. So you can look at the details of the earlier incidents. So that is why I've chosen this particular incident. So you may think so many things are happening around the globe, and most of the YouTube creators take or speak about the current affairs to give you information. Some of them just hold debates. But I think it's important to speak about something that's happening at the moment. If I speak about this after 5 months, it's not going to be there in your memory. You would have been reading about it. And this is a serious concern because we have been exposed to the news on Stampede. So that is why I thought of bringing up this topic. We have already discussed personnel, then Stampede. Now I'll come to the remaining words. The police official said that the incident occurred due to the collapse of an iron grill near the steps. So this is the main focus. It's because of the collapse of an iron grill. Okay, a case has been registered against the temple owner. Has been registered. So it's not was registered, because that is the starting of an inquiry. Why it happened, we need to investigate. Now I'm telling you again, I'm reiterating the part that I'm not here to pass my verdict or judgment on this person is wrong. It should have been like this. All we can do is we can avoid such things in the future, and also introspect why stampede happens, why it is happening in different places. When there is a gathering, many people are getting affected. So is there anything that the crowd, that people as citizens, we can do? Is there anything that we can do as citizens? Is there anything that we can be careful about? As a YouTuber, I don't have the right. I shouldn't take the liberty to question something that is already been investigated. But I have the right to put it across your notice. But here as a channel, what are we doing? We are dealing with language, words, and also analyzing the general topics. So I would like you to understand the concern and the objective. Let's go to the next sentence. Everything is given in the news article, okay? So Hari Mukunda Panda, under various sections, under culpable homicide for the negligence that caused the death of the devotees. I've shown the screenshot there. Can you see these 2 words, culpable and homicide? What's the meaning of culpable? Hold guilty, be at fault. Okay, and homicide is when a person kills another person, human beings killing one another. There are people saying that it was intentional. There are people saying that it was just because of the collapse of the iron grill. Still investigations are going on. So look at this sentence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed condolences to the victims and announced an ex gratia. Ex gratia. What is the meaning of that? It's a payment. It is not done out of legal obligation. It's done out of moral, a sense of moral obligation. Okay? Again, I'm telling you, we don't have the right to pass comments and criticize things in a very ruthless manner. We all have our viewpoints. It's good to have our viewpoints. And if at all you want to discuss about the viewpoints, you can come for a one-to-one conversation, because this has been happening every time. We can't blame just one person. We can't blame only one group of people, a particular community. I would like to draw your attention to this particular line. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu took to social media to express shock over the casualties. Took to. Instead of saying he posted or he did something like this, took to social media means began, to start something. Based on the context, the meanings can change. So took to is a phrasal usage. Whenever you read news, of course, sometimes it's in reported speech. You can look at the way sentences are framed, and it is possible for you to understand except for these words. That's why I chose this particular article. It's not very difficult, but still don't overlook and underestimate thinking that you will be able to handle this very carefully. Now going to the second half. Why do you think this stampede happens all the time? Okay, probably it's because of poor management of crowds, especially when there is poor management, when the authorities, coordinators are not able to give sufficient space. This can happen. You're inviting trouble. Even if people don't want to push, even if people don't want to collapse over one another, when there is poor management, it can happen. Second reason is, even when there is proper management, maybe because of an emergency, there can be confusion, panic. People start panicking and they just look for exits. They may want to save their near ones, and especially when there are children. So when you go to crowded areas, if you have babies, if you have children, if you have old people, you have to really go for a second, third, and even fourth thought. It is fine to be a part of a crowd. You are participating in something, or maybe a big gathering, but you have to give it a thought also before going into it. So the kind of urgent action, it's a kind of intuitive action, is to escape, to find a way to save yourself. But during that act of saving, maybe you're running onto somebody else without noticing. Panic and fear, and sometimes when there is poor management, even if there is proper management, if there is an emergency, this is another reason. Inadequate infrastructure, as I mentioned, without proper entrance, exit, blocked evacuation routes. So when you feel that the structure, suppose you're going to a stadium or an open ground, if you feel that there is no proper pathway, or if there are no proper facilities to allow the crowd to move out, because I think we have to slightly foresee what are the possibilities of a stampede in the upcoming days, especially when you choose to go for such gatherings. Otherwise, stay away. The best thing is to stay away. It's not out of fear, but it's just to prevent. When you feel that the entrance and exits are not proper, you would know about a particular stadium. Do research and find out if there are proper, broader pathways and not the narrow ones. This is just one possible action that can be taken. Another reason is trigger. There can be a lot of events that happens, like it can be a gathering, it can be a sports event. The equilibrium, the harmony of that particular crowd gets disturbed when a particular part of the building, just like how it happened here, collapses. So that creates fear, anxiety. Immediately people run. They start running. They begin shrieking, screaming, which is natural. It is fine to react, but make sure that you don't create fear in others, more fear than what it actually seems to be. Some situations are beyond our control, but I think the way we respond to it can also make some difference instead of increasing the casualties. If there is panic, if you start reacting and running over each other, when one human being runs onto another, or when a group runs onto people without their knowledge, it's done subconsciously. There is this domino effect. I've already mentioned about domino effect in one of the videos. I don't know whether you know about it. This is the domino effect. It's like everybody standing together, one person pushes and it goes on. It's a kind of linear movement. You just hit one cardboard or one block and it affects the others. It's because of the force. However strong you are, you will not be able to withstand that pressure. You will also fall, and then you'll fall on to the next person, or you will run on to the next person. When there is a kind of unprecedented failure, or if there is some kind of structure falling down, definitely it's going to collapse on some people, or maybe it can also create a very big chaos. But more chaos is created when people react this way, running over each other. Don't you think so? Running onto each other. The domino effect creates more casualties. The domino effect, the stampede, whatever is happening around it, it's like you have the tremor and then the remaining things happen around it. In some places, the coordinators and organizers may not even know what's happening. They may not foresee these kind of situations. I think in the future, people are going to be very careful. But whatever has happened has only led to loss of life and loss of health as well. It's not just because of one person or one group. Everybody involved is also slightly responsible. So let's be conscious about where we go, how we go, whom we accompany, and all that. Then the next part is what is to be done. There is a video which has got this title. Can you see that over here? How to stay safe in Stampede. Certain things are beyond your control. What is to be done now? We can't stand there and shout and say, why did I come? Why did I come? You can't curse the stars, right? So we are going to look at the general points here. You stay calm and be aware of your surroundings. You have to take a note of the exit and the entrance. When you travel by plane, the first thing during the emergency precautionary measures, when they give you the safety measures for emergency landing or emergency evacuation, they always mention about the exits. This plane, this aircraft has got 6 exits or 8 exits. Like that, they mention about that. Similarly, be aware of the exits and the escape routes. After that, if you're in a dense crowd, you should always move to the edges. Try to move to the edges instead of standing right in the center and expecting somebody else to save you. Yeah, move to the edges where there is less population. And the best thing is to protect your chest. That is what this particular video also describes. Protect your chest. At least keep your hands to your chest, creating space with your arms. And you have to move with the flow of the crowd. It is important. Instead of moving against the crowd, it's like when you move against the wind, what happens? You will collapse, right? So you move along with the wind, you move along with the flow of the crowd. I think I've used more than 3 times this particular usage. That is, things are beyond your control. Suppose you fall, somebody pushes you, you've tried everything and you fall down. You have to push yourself to the fetal position. This is a fetal position. I think this is the safest position because you're going to protect your chest, your vital organs, especially your head. Because so many people run over the head, they won't even see who is lying down or if there is anybody lying down. And we have read in the newspapers that when people run over each other, it creates a hole in the ground. And people can get buried, and that's scary. It's terrifying. So you protect your head, you protect your vital organs, and then when you get a chance, get up and move with the crowd. Here through this video, I'm giving you the possibilities and the probabilities. These are some of the things that you can do at that time because you are overcome by fear. And you are also panic stricken. You don't know what to do. When you go to a dense gathering, you should be aware that anything can happen and you have to take some precautionary measures. The best thing is to avoid accompanying old people and children because you cannot expect them to move like you. They may not be even able to comprehend the situation. By the time they comprehend the situation, they would have fallen down, they would have been injured. Why do you want such things to happen? And make sure that you know the entrance, exit, and if suppose you see something unusual, sometimes you may have this premonition, you may have some kind of feeling, the gut feeling. I'm not speaking about foreseeing things, but the gut feeling tells that something is not usual. I think you can just walk away from there. Even if nothing is wrong, even if it's just your feeling, if you feel that you don't have to be in a place for a longer period of time, just walk out. Nobody's stopping you because it's just for the safety of your family, not for you. So I hope you get the meanings of these words. I just gave you a short list because many people are not used to some of these words. Let's not make the words overwhelming. It can be taken step by step. And I hope you found this video useful. Again, I'm telling you, when you read newspaper, when you read a book, before coming into conclusions, analyze it. We are not here to teach the authorities. We are not here to tell them what is to be done. This is supposed to be done. Of course, we have our opinions. I have shared my suggestions after watching this particular video, after also having a kind of small discussion with people around. This is what can be possibly done, but the best thing is to stay away because it has been happening over a long period of time. And when you see that something is unusual, you shouldn't stay there for longer. You would have come a long way. You would have taken the pain to be there. You would have been waiting for an event to happen as such. But your safety, your health is very important. I just want you to be healthy. I just want you to be safe. Happy learning.